Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch today's video, or at least the second video for today. I want to talk about two things. One thing important, seed saving. A method of storing your seeds. It's very important. We'll get to that in just here in a second. It's extremely important because if you save your seeds and you don't save them in a way that they last, then, well, it doesn't do much good to save seeds. And I've had problems over the years of seeds getting moldy or wet or bugs or, all these different problems. So I've tried to come up with something that we have kind of focused on this year as seeds, not just in collecting them, but also figuring out a good way to preserve them. And I think I have come up with a way, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. Doesn't mean you have to mimic everything that I do, but hopefully it will inspire you to do something similar to make sure that your seeds are kept solid. And then we'll get into why you probably should be taking care of your seeds, because what the economy is currently doing with all the other stuff, if you take with what I said this morning about the shipping crisis and add to what I'm getting ready to say, I think you'll put two and two together. Also, for those of you in the local area, our meeting is this Sunday, October 3rd. Local meetings this Sunday, October 3rd. For those of you that's been coming, same time, same place. Sunday. Meeting starts at 2, doors open between 11:30 and 12, and you can come and mingle and be there for the meeting. All right, so let's get on with my little video I made for the seed containers. I'm going to let it go. All right, folks, I'm going to show you how we store our seeds here. One of the things you're probably going to notice is it seems to be that there's a lot of redundancies on protecting the seeds. There is a reason for that. I've personally lost seeds over the years a few times to not being stored as well as I thought that they were stored. I've had them in totes, just a regular plastic totes that's the bottom has split and bugs and moisture got in. They've dumped out. There's just been a few times. Nothing major catastrophic, but still have had damage to seeds because they weren't stored as well as I thought. And while this may seem a little over the top, I don't believe that it is. This whole system costs, not including the seeds that's in here, just a little over $100, I believe. And think about it. Right now we live in a world where you don't have to have seeds. You don't have to live out of your garden. Probably none of us live 100% out of our garden. And probably none of us have to save seeds because we can still purchase them. But there may come a day that we don't have that option, and that living out of our garden and saving our seeds is extremely important. And, if you have a root cellar, that's a good place, but not everyone has those. So you need some place to store them. And even if you have a root cellar, a system like this works. These need to be, even in this system, still need to be kept in a fairly cool place out of the sun. But I want to get into this here in just a second. This one here, it's a Plano Sportsman's trunk, heavy duty. It doesn't have to be this one. None of this system, I'm not telling you need to replicate exactly. I purchased this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's very heavy duty. It can handle a lot of weight and abuse because it's thicker and heavier than these, little thin plastic totes. Also, the measurements worked fine, and I'll show you that here in a minute when we open it. You can lock this. This resists moisture, can't get in it unless, of course, it's submerged. It's not completely watertight, but it's, if it gets rained on or something, it's not going to get inside of it. So let's crack this open, and I'll show you what we've got inside. This stuff here on top we'll set aside, and I'll talk about that here in just a minute. So bear with me. These things here we'll get to first. These are containers to hold photographs. There are two in there. And like I said, I wanted an outer container that worked so that these would take up half of the space, and they fit pretty snug in here. And then this side over here is where more of the bulk seeds are going to go. So in these containers for photographs, you can get them on Amazon or probably other places, have these little boxes. These are 4 inches by 6 inches. You can organize them however you would like. But the thing is the little seed packets that you buy fit really nicely in there. And like this, for instance, is one of those paper seed packs. And here's another one of those paper seed packs. These things, the actual envelope that they're in, they get wet, they attract moisture, they fall apart, the glue falls apart, your seeds can fall out, they can get moldy, and in the end you can damage your seeds. So what I did is I purchased some of these. These are Mylar Ziploc baggies. They were quite cheap. I can't remember the price, but I remember it was $10–15, I think, for 100 of them. And they do Ziploc up. You can vacuum seal them if you want. They even have the little tear tabs if you wanted to do that. But the paper seed envelopes fit perfectly in them, and then they fit just right in these plastic containers here to help organize them. And you can, categorize and organize and catalog your seeds however you like, but they're organized. That you could go through, you could put labels here, and I probably will eventually do something like that. And this is a way that you can keep all these little seed envelopes together. And some companies, some companies, they sell them already in these, get it out of here. Like this one here is a paper envelope, obviously. But here's a company that they're sold in a Mylar bag. So those just fit nicely in there. And then you take the ones that are in the paper and you put them in your own Mylar, stick them in there, and it's an easy way to organize them. Over here on this side is the more bulk stuff. Now you see these Ziploc bags. These are seeds that we collected this year, at least what's left of them. And I still am working on putting in Mylar bags and organizing them, but these are some of the ones I'm still working on. These large Mylar bags, again, I purchased. They're not terribly expensive. Here, this is how they come. These are 1 gallon Mylar Ziploc bags. They can be vacuum sealed if you choose to, but they hold bulk seeds. For instance, right here, this is 5 pounds of heirloom sweet corn, and they fit really nicely in there. And I've got a little sheet of information. I think I'm going to put it on the outside, because at first I put the information in the bag, but I'm going to put it on the outside, and that way you can have it sealed up quite well. It's very unlikely that moisture and bugs are going to get in it. And then also, this here's a seed company that I've been using a lot recently. And I do buy seeds from just about any company because I like the variety. I don't like to have all my eggs in one basket in case, that company had a bad year for their seeds. But this is a company I've really grown to like, True Leaf Market. They source excellent heirloom and organic seeds, and they package them really well in these Mylar bags. And the prices, they sell them in bulk. You can get them into a few grams all the way up to several pounds. And they have a pretty good variety, not quite as good a variety as, say, like Baker Creek or something like that, but it doesn't, it takes a week to get the seeds. It doesn't take very long. They seem to have a pretty good stock still. I checked just the other day. Most of their stuff is still in stock. So this is another way of ordering your seeds. And like I said, these are already in Mylar bags, and so they're sealed up, vacuum sealed, and will last a very, very long time. Which is the whole point of this. Of course, we're using out of this every year. We're adding to it every year. We collect our own seeds, but I'm also purchasing seeds every year because it's important. This is our seed bank, and governments do this. Organizations do this. There are elaborate seed banks and seed vaults all over the world. We should do the same and build a system, either just like this or something like this, or however you want to do it, but make sure you have a system in place to preserve your seeds, because it doesn't do any good if you're collecting all these seeds and then they end up getting spoiled, molded, bugs get in there, mice get in it, or whatever the problem is. They need to be protective, and I'm hoping so far, knock on wood, this system works, and it also helps keep us organized. So saving seeds is important. And what I'm about to say may explain to you in one way why saving seeds is extremely important. The economy is not looking so good. We talked this morning in another video about the shipping stuff. You should go watch that one. We've been talking about that for a while. Things are coming to a head. They're building and building. And while I'm not going to tell you that the sky is falling and it's all about ready to collapse, because we don't know that. And I'm just not that kind of person. I don't want you all to be in fear of what may happen. I will tell you this, though, because I feel I need to be honest. If you look at past in the history of other nations that their economies collapsed, that they went into hyperinflation or whatever it was, it did kind of follow a similar pattern to what we're seeing right now. And between the shipping and the things I'm getting ready to say really are still just kind of a one piece of the whole puzzle of what's going on with our economy. Obviously, one of the things that we know about it's in the news is this debt ceiling. We're about to hit the debt ceiling. They're saying October 18th. If nothing is done, the Republicans in the Senate are steadfast on saying that they will not agree to raise the debt ceiling. I've had people asking me what my opinion is, if I think they're going to do it. I don't know. It all depends on if their intent is to actually crash the system. Not saying that the debt ceiling, hitting the debt ceiling is going to crash the system, but that attached with all this other stuff certainly could. The things going on in China, things going here in the workforce with this, the shipping problems, a lot of other stuff going on. And we're wanting to spend trillions and trillions of dollars in infrastructure and other stuff. So we'll see how that all plays out. At first I was saying, no, I don't think they're going to let us hit the debt ceiling without doing anything. Now I'm kind of leaning towards the side that maybe they will, and we'll just have to see how this plays out. But they're looking at October 18th. Chase Morgan, other places, big financial companies are warning people of catastrophic failure, that this is going to be catastrophic. Will it be? I don't know, but it's certainly something that we should prepare for. And like I just said, even though this may not be the catastrophic failure event, it could be that needle in the haystack, that needle, that straw on the camel's back. I'll get my little analogies sorted out here in a second. Then we've got the reverse repo. Look at this. We're at $1.4 trillion. The Fed is buying back and consuming, sucking in the money because there's just too much money out there. This is a record. Every time this number comes out in the last 12 months has been a record. We're getting close to that $1.5–2 trillion number. I mean, this is astronomical when you look at it through financial markets. And then, of course, they're wanting to continue spending money. I want to show you a clip here. I believe this was from this morning. It's Nancy Pelosi, and she's talking about how this spending, it's not really going to cost us anything. I mean, wouldn't you love to have that problem, to be able to spend money and not cost you anything? I mean, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that, taking out some loans and then tell the bank, but it's going to cost you zero. So I don't have to pay it back. It's zero. Watch this clip. There's something, though, in this clip, and I just want you to see it. I want you to watch your hand. I'm not really going to tell you anything. I'm not going to make any more comments on it. I want you to figure it out on your own, but I'll play the clip.
The dollar amount, as the president said, is zero. This bill will be paid for. It's about what are the values that we share and how we prioritize them. And that is the place that we will go.
So see, it's not going to cost us anything. It's zero. It's zero. Don't worry about it, folks. Don't worry about it, folks. Don't worry about the fact that, our workforce is just dwindling down because, we went through all the shutdowns and wouldn't let people go to work. And then now that things are opening up, we're telling people they can't work again because they don't have this. You cannot tell me that forcing all these people to lose their jobs is not going to cause a problem in an already, broken down system. There's news reports popping up every so often in the last few days. Police officers that are saying they're not going to take it. They're getting fired. Different hospital workers from across the nation. New York right now is going through. It's been in the news quite a bit. That they're actually going to be calling up the National Guard, they say, to fill in the spots of hospital workers that's refused the thing. And the numbers that they put out, that right now around 70 to 72,000 hospital employees in the state of New York have absolutely refused to receive it. They said they're not taking it. So is that the amount of people that could lose their jobs? That's a lot. American Airlines are laying people off that's not getting this. And the reason why they're doing it, now some of these companies, they could be in cahoots with the government and all this kind of stuff, but they also don't want to pay the penalties for it. The government is using OSHA to enforce this by saying, if you don't do this, we're going to fine you. Well, the Democrats and Biden are wanting to increase that fine. Right now, the fines can be anywhere between $7,000 and $70,000 for a company to pay, but now they're wanting to increase that to $700,000. That it could be as high as $700,000, almost $1 million, that a company would have to pay because their employees aren't getting this. I want to, just a little side note here. May not mean anything to some of you, but some of you is going to catch it because I certainly caught it. Look at the U.S. code that they're using to enforce this. See that little highlighted area there in the screenshot? Yes, that's the code, the U.S. code that they're using to enforce this upon companies. And it could be as high as $700,000 in fines. That's certainly going to help the economy, right? You either have a choice of firing your employees or paying millions of dollars in fines. I mean, do they really think that this is going to just keep trucking along and not any problems? Nothing's going to happen. It's not going to be a big deal, because it is a big deal, folks. We're seeing just breakdowns in the system all over. And well, no one's really kind of, paying any attention. So again, going back to what I said in the beginning of the video about seeds and how important seed saving is, if you're not paying attention to this kind of stuff, you should be. If we start seeing collapses in our economy, whether it's the dollar or various other places that could collapse, your seeds that you're saving and other things that you're putting aside are going to become very, very important. Again, I don't want to come across as scaring everyone. It's bad. Well, guess what? It is bad. But what I'm hoping to do is show you that there's ways that you can get through it. There's ways that you can prepare for it. Don't put all your faith and hope in the government and the economy and the stock market and Walmart and all this kind of stuff. Take back your freedoms yourself. Put the responsibility of your life and your family's life in your own hands, which is why I'm constantly on here telling people, get your houses in order, prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, because we are living in times that, don't look so well for us. And it doesn't seem like anyone's really paying a lot of attention, or at least a lot of people. In the video that I made this morning talking about this whole shipping backing up and everything, I said then that I believe it was all orchestrated. I believe this is being orchestrated. There's no way anyone in their right mind in any kind of leadership position would see that, we're hitting our debt ceiling, we're having to rebuy back all this money, all these economic problems, and guess what? On top of that, we're going to force employers to fire all their employees or to pay hundreds and hundreds and maybe millions of dollars in fines, folks. And then on top of that, we're going to spend trillions and trillions of dollars and tell everyone that it's not going to cost you a dime. We live in a clown world. I really think so. I've joked about this before. When I see this stuff in the news, I think in the back of my head, that clown music, from when you were a kid and you went to the circus and stuff, that's what's playing. That's the world we live in. But it's not just happening. It's not just a chance that it's happening. This is orchestrated, folks. They're doing this on purpose because a strong, vibrant, and powerful nation is not going to willingly give up their rights to join a global governance and be under the thumb of a new world order. They have to bring us down to our knees first, and that's what we're seeing play out. All right, folks, thank you for watching. Catch you in the next video.